Whew, made a fresh cup of coffee for this one. Oh yeah, it's good stuff. Hey guys, my name is Ryan Stiles Harris. In this video today, we are going to JCONCEPTS, round number 3 of the Spring Super Cup Series 3. Took us down to the beautiful Coral Springs, Florida at the Coral Springs RC track. It was a beautiful sunshiny weekend until the later portions of main day, but it was a fantastic event. I have a quick little edit here that we're going to jump into, and then we'll get right into all of the racing action, setup, talk, tires discussion, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy.
When you way before, couldn't look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. You're so very special. I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong I wanna have control. I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul.
Let's jump into the two-wheel drive buggy class. This weekend just really felt awesome. We've been struggling a little bit at the previous races. Never really felt too happy with where the setup was and my driving performance. So I was going into this weekend incredibly motivated to just improve my overall placing with this particular class. I did a lot of tire prep and setup testing at some club races leading into this particular event. I was going to commit to two things. I was going to run a laydown transmission regardless of the level of traction, and I was going to limit myself to just a handful of tread patterns and then just stick with the one that I felt most confident with. So we got to the track on Friday and the clay was awesome. Tons of grip, no issues whatsoever looking for traction. So I went out on Friday and I immediately threw on some double Ds and some rips, standard outdoor tire combination, just to see what it was going to do. Well, I pulled the car off the track and the pins were completely bald in the middle of the double Ds. So lots of grip, very abrasive track. That wasn't going to be necessary if the track stayed dry and the sun stayed out. So I immediately pulled out my green compound dirt webs. Those felt amazing. Tons of grip, but I could still push the car. I saw some guys go out with reflexes and they had a lot of grip too, but with them being a slightly unpopular wheel size, I wasn't comfortable running reflexes. With the dirt webs, I could keep the car exactly where I wanted, I could push it really hard, and it just felt phenomenal. As far as setup changes go, I went out with the standard B6D shock configuration, and The only changes that I made was instead of running a green rear spring, I switched it to a white rear spring. And then I also stiffened up my oil just a little bit. I wasn't sure how cold it was going to be. I started off the weekend at a 27.5 weight oil in the rear, and I ended up going to a 30 weight oil in the rear. So nothing crazy, nothing spectacular, just wanted to stiffen up that rear end a little bit because I just didn't really need all of that weight transfer to go to the back to generate any extra grip, because like I said, track had plenty of grip. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and jump into the main here. You can take a look, and then when I come back, we'll jump into the 13.5 4-wheel drive class.
All right, guys, so we're gonna keep it clean in our Expert Stock A main. Everybody get ready on the tone in less than 5. All right, and we're off and running. Ryan Harris off to a clean start. Jader Lopez hot on his heels. But Eric Everett not far behind him either. That's your 1, 2, and 3. Oh, Applegate. Applegate, they got the same paint job. So Ryan Harris coming around the front line. Jader Lopez hot on his heels. That's your 1 and 2 crossing the line. You got Applegate into the number 3. Looks like Alfredo Morales into the number 4. So Ryan Harris, your leader, coming by. Jader Lopez not far behind him, only about a second back. You got Michael Applegate in number 3, Alfredo Morales in the 4, Jake Sugarman in the number 5, Eric Everett in the 6, Kevin Welkley in the number 7, Sebastian in the 8. Oh, Louis Perez out of the number 8, Sebastian in the 9. Let's see if we can find your leader, Ryan Harris. He's working that left-hand side of the track now, going over the double. He's got Jader Lopez whipping it behind him, trying to reel him back in. Right now you got Alfredo Morales and Mike Applegate battling it out for that 3 and 4 spot. Oh, looks like Applegate rolled it over, so that allowed Everett, Alfredo Morales, and Sugarman to get by. So that's going to put Applegate all the way down into the number 6. Oh, we got a car upside down at the end of the front stretch. I can't tell who it is. That looked like it was Applegate. So that's going to put Eric Everett into the number 5 spot. Oh, they both got together. They look identical. Those two almost same cars, blue, yellow, and green, going off the back section. They're battling it out for that 5 and 6. Meanwhile, you got Ryan Harris still leading the way. He's working that sweeper in the center. Jader Lopez about 1.5 seconds back. It looks like they pulled a good 8-second gap on Jake Sugarman in the number 3 spot. Alfredo Morales into the 4, Applegate into the 5, Eric Everett in the 6, Kevin Welkley in the 7, Louis Perez and Sebastian battling out for that 8-9. We're coming up on 3 minutes left to go. Drivers 2 minutes down, 3 minutes left to go. Applegate and Everett, they're neck and neck working that back left-hand side of the track. Looks like Applegate's got a little bit of an advantage. Everett, it looks like Welkley pulling up on the back of Everett, so that's your 5, 6, and 7 getting ready to battle it out. Oh, I didn't see what happened, but it looked like Jader Lopez to the race lead. Ryan Harris in the number 2 spot, less than half a second back. Jake Sugarman in the number 3, so that's your battle for the 1 and 2. Going across the track now. 2:30 down, 2:30 left to go. Jader Lopez looks like he's leading the way. Oh, looks like a mistake out of Jader, put Ryan Harris out of the race lead. All right, still coming to 1 minute left to go. Ryan Harris to the race lead. Jader Lopez in the number 2. Alfredo Morales in the 3. Sugarman now in the number 4. Applegate in the 5. Everett in the 6. Kevin Welkley in the 7. Louis Perez in the 8. And Sebastian Vason in the number 9. 45 seconds left to go. Let's see if we can find your leader, Ryan Harris, on the racetrack. He's going up the hill now, drifting it up the tabletop, going over the double on the left-hand side. Let's see if we can find your number 2 with Jader Lopez. He's going over the tabletop double now, working that left-hand side of the track. Alfredo Morales in the number 4 spot. He's going over the triple now, keeping it nice and tight. Actually, no, Alfredo Morales in the number 3, Mike Applegate to the number 4, Sugarman into the 5, Everett into the 6, Welkley into the 7, Louis in the 8, Sebastian in the 9. They're coming up on 10 seconds, drivers. 10 seconds left to go. 5 seconds, they're going to be racing to the wire. Oh, we got 3 cars tangled up here. They're racing to the wire.
Keep Chicago done.
Ryan Harris taking the 2-1 first stock buggy to win here today.
So, there you have it. Pretty solid event there. Little bobble. Gave the lead up to Jader for just a second, but he was really fast all weekend. He unfortunately made a mistake as well, and then I managed to hold on to the lead for the remainder of the race. So, on to the 13.5 four-wheel drive class. This is a car that I've been feeling fairly good with all year. It's a class in general that I think, because it's four-wheel drive, you can kind of overcome a little bit of shortcoming in your setup because you can just drive the car a little bit harder in and out of the corners. So it's been really fun. If you guys are on the fence between the two, if your local track runs the four-wheel drive 13.5 class and you've never run it before, I encourage you, give it a try. It's a lot of fun. So with the Wheeler, I went out there with the same double Ds in the early on. They felt okay, but when the grip came up, they were actually a little bit too edgy. In the first round of qualifying, I went out and the very first thing I did on my warm-up lap was I traction rolled. It was still fairly early in the morning, so I thought that it would be necessary to run the double Ds, but the track had plenty of grip and it really wasn't necessary. So in round 2 of qualifying, I went out on green dirt webs again, and the car just felt phenomenal. Super dialed, I could push it everywhere. Didn't want to traction roll at all. The setup was fairly close to stock. The only difference is, I believe it's different than stock, is I'm running a white rear spring. Everything else is how it comes out of the box as far as the suspension geometry. I've shown you guys in the past, I am running the shimmed rear end, that 2mm forward on the arms, pushing the shocks forward a little bit and running the rear links on the front of the rear tower. Something else I've been playing around with is the shell front brace. I really liked the way that the car feels going through corners. It felt like it was a little bit more stable, a little bit more planted. It didn't have any funky things going on when you were transitioning from left to right. So I'm leaving it in there for now. I am also running the shell rear tower. Something I saw Dustin Evans running at INS and at a few other events. I wanted to try it myself and it feels really good. I'm planning on keeping that in the car as well. Qualifying went okay in the first round. In the second round, I pulled out a TQ run. Jader again, right there in second place. Super close racing all day. And going into the main event, it was actually raining just a little bit. You'll see here in just a second. So on our warm-up lap, we went out there and it was a little bit of a Drift City situation, but it was still a good race, so I'll go ahead and play that and I'll come back in a second. We'll wrap up with the 13.5 stadium truck class.
All right, everybody, guys, let's keep it clean on the tone here in less than 5. We're off. Ryan Harris leading us off closely with Jader Lopez in tow. Eric Everett in the number 2 spot. That's Mike Applegate. I've been doing that all day. I've done that like 4 times. I'm sorry, guys. Ryan Harris in the number 1. And everybody's mixing it up over here. All right, Ryan Harris leading us off. Jake Sugarman in the number 2 spot. Applegate in the 3. Alfredo in the 4. Jader Lopez now in the number 4 spot. Alfredo in the 5. Let's see if we can find your leader, Ryan Harris. He's coming down the front stretch now, keeping it nice and clean. Stretching that lead out on Jake Sugarman. So your leader, Ryan Harris, working through the triple section now, keeping it nice and tight. You got Jader Lopez in the number 2 spot, trying to reel him in. You got Joshua Alfaro now. Looks like Alfaro into the number 3 spot. Jake Sugarman down to the 4. Alfredo into the 5. Looks like Applegate. Oh, Applegate in the 6, getting it wrong right here at the triple. That's going to put Everett in the number 5, or in the number 7. Jader crossing the stripe now. You got Sugarman into the number 5, into the 4, Alfredo into the 5, Applegate into the 6, Corey into the 7, Tommy Allen into the 8, Kevin Welpley in the 9, and Eric Everett into the number 10. 20 seconds left to go, drivers. 20 seconds left to go. Ten seconds, drivers. 10 seconds.
Harris done.
Ryan Harris taking the win here today in this four-wheel drive 13.5 A main.
So there you have it. Not too much action going on there. Shout out to Joshua Alfaro, a fellow Trinity and JCONCEPTS driver. He did really good, picking up a second place spot back there. I knew he started from 7th on the grid and he fought his way all the way up to 2nd place. So congrats, bro. Awesome run. Hoping that we can do some battle at the next round. Moving on to the 13.5 Stadium Truck class. This class, I'm so happy that JCONCEPTS put this together because it was kind of like the Stadium Truck. It had a little bit of a heartbeat, but it was kind of fading. And I feel like this 13.5 class has breathed some new life into it, and it's been a lot of fun so far. That's why I picked up this T5M, just so that I could run this class and hopefully revive it just a little bit. I don't know. I like hearing when you guys comment down below that, yeah, Stadium Trucks or whatever. It's really cool. I hope that everyone else out there, wherever they're running them, that you give it a try, because it's just such a fun class. I honestly did not drive that truck again until round 1 of qualifying. Just threw it down on the track and the thing just works. That's how nice they are, because the tires are big, they're a little bit heavier, so there's always going to be a higher level of grip when comparing it to like a 2-wheel drive buggy. And the kit setup that Associated has is pretty good. I haven't changed it too much. I have added the Kashima shock bodies, I have added the truck springs, and I have thrown in the 3-gear transmission setup. I ran the 4-gear at the last race, and then I ran the 3-gear at this race, and I definitely like the way that it goes through the corners. A little bit more stable, a little bit more predictable. So if you haven't tried that yourself, I encourage you to give it a shot, see if you like it. As far as tires go, double Ds all day long. They felt amazing. In the second round of qualifying, the track was nice and sunny, lots of traction, and it was pulling the front tires off of the ground everywhere. It was just a super awesome truck. Jumped, landed amazing. I laid down the fastest single qualifying run of the day, but a mechanical issue in the first round meant that I placed pretty poorly, so I didn't pick up the overall TQ for that class. Started second, right behind Alfredo Morales, and we went into the main as it was raining kind of hard. Not too hard that we had to call the race, but they literally debated calling the race right then and there as we put our trucks out onto the track. So I'll only play just a little bit of this race because it's pretty underwhelming. The rain obviously made the track incredibly slick. It was almost impossible to get on the gas anywhere without spinning out. So it was a bit of a bore fest as far as the speed goes. But I'll go ahead, throw it in here, just a few highlights of that, and then I'll come back and wrap this video up for you guys.
Good. All right, I got the thumbs up. Everybody, let's keep it clean out there. Track might be a little icy. All right, guys, on the tone in less than 5. And we're off our 13.5 Stadium Truck A main, keeping it nice and clean. Alfredo Morales now in the number 1 spot, followed closely by Michael Applegate. Applegate diving to the inside, clearly got these loose conditions dialed in. So it's Michael Applegate to the number 1 spot. Ryan Harris in the number 2. Alfredo in the number 3. It looks like Glenn Hammond in the number 4. Rick Jacobs in the number 5. And Travis White in the number 6. Looks like that little bit of rain made the track nice and icy. You got Ryan Harris in the number 2 spot. Alfredo in the 3. Travis White hot on his heels in the number 4, trying to reel him in. Travis White getting these loose conditions down. Got a couple X-ray trucks working for that podium position. Oh, we got a car upside down. I didn't hear what happened, but I heard the who's and ahs. Ryan Harris out of the race lead. Mike Applegate in the number 2 spot. Alfredo in the 3. Travis White in the 4. Rick Jacobs in the 5. And Glenn Hammond into the 6. Ryan Harris with a new hot lap, 28.4. It looks like the track might finally be sucking up that little bit of water. Travis White now moving his way into the number 3 spot. Team White Lightning taking it away around Alfredo. So now it is Ryan Harris, Mike Applegate, Travis White, Alfredo Morales, Rick Jacobs, and Glenn Hammond.
No pressure, man. Your family here.
10 seconds, drivers. 10 seconds left to go. 10 seconds. Your leader, Ryan Harris. Gonna get one.
Not a very exciting performance, but still, a win is a win. So that was really cool. First time that I've picked up 3 wins in all of my classes here at Super Cup. Not sure if I'll be able to repeat this success later this year, but you guys know that I will definitely try. It's been a lot of fun working on these cars and sharing the experience with you guys. So please, any questions or comments that you have, as always, drop them down below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I will put out future content for more Super Cup races, tip videos, and that sort of stuff. Like the video if you guys like it, that always helps me out. And that's going to be it for this one. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.